Right now, as you watch this video, something may be quietly happening inside your body that most doctors never talk about in a standard checkup. Your kidneys, two fist-sized organs sitting just below your ribcage, are working every single minute of every day to clean your blood. They filter about 50 gallons of blood every 24 hours. Think about that. 50 gallons, that's more than most fish tanks. But here's what most people don't realize. After the age of 60, the kidneys don't just slow down a little. They face a hidden enemy, a silent, invisible poison that accumulates inside the body, not from some exotic disease, not from a rare condition, but from everyday habits most people consider completely harmless. And the scariest part? This poison doesn't cause obvious pain. It doesn't show up in most routine blood tests until it has already done serious damage. Most people find out too late. If you've been feeling more tired than usual, if your legs or ankles have been swelling, if you've noticed changes in how often you urinate, or if you just feel like your body isn't recovering the way it used to, this video may be the most important thing you watch this year. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you changes everything. Let's start with what most people believe. Most people think kidney problems happen because of dramatic causes: kidney stones, infections, genetic conditions, or maybe drinking too little water. And when older adults feel fatigue, swelling, or brain fog, they chalk it up to just getting older. Their doctor runs a basic blood panel. Everything looks okay on the surface, and they go home with nothing answered. Here's the problem with that. Standard blood tests often don't catch early kidney damage. The kidneys are remarkably good at hiding their distress. They can lose up to 40% of their function before any standard test even picks it up. So people walk around for years with kidneys under constant chemical stress, not knowing it. Not because they drank too little water, not because of any infection, but because of something they are consuming every single day. Something sitting in their kitchen cabinet or bathroom drawer. Something so ordinary, it's never questioned. The real problem starts when this hidden substance builds up faster than the kidneys can process it. And in people over 60, that happens much, much more easily than most realize. So what is this hidden poison? I want you to keep listening, because the answer is going to surprise you. And it may also explain symptoms you've been carrying around for years, wondering why you can't shake them. The hidden poison I'm talking about is not one dramatic chemical. It's actually a class of compounds that the aging kidney becomes increasingly vulnerable to. But there is one source that stands above all others. It's called oxalate. You may have heard of it in passing, maybe linked to kidney stones. But what most people don't understand, and what almost never gets explained properly, is how oxalate behaves in the body of someone over 60. Here's what's happening inside. Every time you eat certain foods, and we'll get to exactly which ones shortly, your gut absorbs oxalic acid. In a young, healthy person with a strong digestive system and healthy gut bacteria, most of this oxalic acid gets broken down and removed safely through the stool. It never even reaches the kidneys in dangerous amounts. But here's where aging changes everything. As we get older, the gut lining becomes more porous. You may have heard the term leaky gut. The friendly bacteria in the gut that neutralize oxalate, particularly a microbe called Oxalobacter formigenes, decline dramatically in most people over 60. Antibiotic use over the decades wipes out this protective bacteria. A less diverse gut microbiome in older adults means far less natural protection. So now oxalate that would have been neutralized in the gut of a 30-year-old passes straight into the bloodstream of a 60-year-old. And where does the blood go to be filtered? The kidneys. This is where the hidden damage begins. Oxalate crystals, and they do form sharp, microscopic crystals, begin accumulating in the delicate tubules of the kidney. These tubules are the tiny filtering channels, incredibly fragile, lined with some of the most specialized cells in your body. Oxalate crystals are like tiny shards of glass being pushed through silk. Each crystal triggers inflammation. Each inflammation response scars a little more of the kidney tissue. And unlike most organs, kidney tissue does not regenerate. Once those filtering cells are damaged, they are gone. Now here's what makes this even more alarming. This process is silent. There is no pain in the kidneys until damage is quite advanced. The kidneys have almost no pain receptors, By the time your back aches from kidney trouble, the damage has usually been going on quietly for years. And the poison, oxalate, keeps arriving every day through your food, building up, crystal by crystal. Now you might be wondering, why is this specifically a problem after 60? This is the part most health videos skip entirely. And understanding this is the key to understanding why what worked for your body at 40 doesn't work the same way at 65. There are several aging-related changes happening simultaneously that make the kidneys far more vulnerable to oxalate toxicity. First, kidney filtration rate naturally declines with age. By age 65, most people have lost about 30 to 40% of kidney filtering capacity compared to their 30s, even without any disease. That means the kidneys are already working with less reserve capacity when oxalate hits them. Second, circulation to the kidneys slows down. The kidneys need strong, consistent blood flow to flush out waste. As arteries stiffen with age and blood pressure fluctuates more, the kidneys receive less of the steady, powerful flow they need to do their job efficiently. Oxalate lingers longer. Third, hormonal changes, especially the drop in estrogen in women after menopause, have a direct effect on kidney function. Estrogen has a protective effect on kidney tubules. When it drops, those tubules become more susceptible to inflammatory damage from crystal deposits. Fourth, and this one surprises people, magnesium levels drop significantly in older adults. This matters enormously because magnesium in the gut actually binds to oxalate. It grabs it before it can be absorbed into the bloodstream. When magnesium is low, more oxalate gets through. Fifth, the liver, which also helps process oxalate, becomes less efficient with age. So the liver's backup role in neutralizing excess oxalate weakens just as the gut's role weakens and the kidney's capacity weakens. Three systems failing to protect you at the same time. This is why the same diet that caused no problems at 45 can begin quietly destroying kidney tissue at 65. Your body's defenses have changed, but your diet hasn't. And that gap between what your aging body can handle and what you're still consuming is where the damage quietly grows. Let me tell you about a man I want to call Richard. He's 68 years old, retired, considered himself healthy. Richard ate what he thought was an excellent diet. Spinach smoothies every morning, almonds as his daily snack, sweet potatoes with dinner most nights, whole grain bread, dark chocolate in the evenings as a treat because he'd read it was good for the heart. He started noticing things slowly. First, fatigue that sleep didn't fix. He'd wake up after 8 hours feeling like he hadn't slept at all. Then his ankles started puffing up by the afternoon, especially if he'd been sitting for a while. He went to the bathroom more frequently at night, 2, sometimes 3 times. He mentioned this to his doctor. Basic labs were run. His creatinine was slightly elevated, but his doctor said it was borderline, watch it. His blood pressure had crept up and was now being managed with medication. His energy issues were attributed to age. Richard accepted this. He figured it was just getting older. 2 years later, a specialist ran more detailed kidney function tests. His kidney function had dropped significantly. He was in the early stages of chronic kidney disease, and he had no idea it had been progressing for years. When he sat down with a kidney specialist and went through his diet in detail, the picture became very clear. Every single item in Richard's daily routine, the spinach, the almonds, the sweet potatoes, the dark chocolate, sits at the very top of the high oxalate food list. Richard had been unknowingly flooding his aging, lower-capacity kidneys with oxalate every single day, for years, thinking he was being healthy. He wasn't the exception. Thousands of well-meaning older adults are doing exactly the same thing right now. What happened next surprises most people. Within 6 months of dietary changes and targeted support, Richard's kidney function stabilized, not reversed. Kidney damage doesn't reverse, but it stopped progressing. And his energy, his sleep, his swelling, all improved noticeably. His body responded when the hidden cause was addressed. Now here's something you can check right now. A simple set of signs that may tell you whether oxalate buildup is already stressing your kidneys. First, check your urine. This sounds basic, but it's powerful. Healthy kidney function should produce pale yellow urine throughout the day. If your urine is consistently dark, even in the morning after waking up, Or if it looks cloudy or has a persistent, unusual odor, those are signals the kidneys are struggling to clear waste efficiently. Second, check your ankles and calves at the end of the day. Press your fingertip firmly into the skin just above your ankle bone and hold for 5 seconds. Release. If there is a visible dent, a pit, that takes more than a second to fill back in, that is called pitting edema. It means fluid is accumulating. The kidneys regulate fluid balance. When they're stressed, fluid backs up into the tissues. Third, notice your energy pattern. Kidney strain produces a very specific kind of fatigue, a heavy, bone-deep tiredness that is worst in the mid-afternoon and doesn't respond well to caffeine or rest. It's different from tiredness after exercise. It's a general dullness that lingers. Fourth, pay attention to nighttime urination. Getting up once at night to urinate can be normal as we age. Getting up 2, 3, or 4 times, especially if the amounts are small, can indicate the kidneys are struggling to concentrate urine properly. That's a function that deteriorates under chronic stress. If you recognize 2 or more of these signs, please do not diagnose yourself. But do talk to your doctor, and specifically ask for a comprehensive metabolic panel that includes creatinine, BUN, and a GFR calculation. Ask for a urine microalbumin test. These tests give a far more complete picture of kidney health than standard labs alone. Your body is trying to warn you. The question is whether you're listening. Now let's talk about what you can actually do. Because the good news, and this genuinely is good news, is that the kidneys respond to intelligent support faster than almost any other organ. You don't need extreme measures. You need smart, consistent daily habits that reduce the oxalate burden while actively supporting the kidney's filtering power. Let's start with food, because that's where the biggest immediate impact is. The highest oxalate foods to reduce significantly, especially if you're over 60, are spinach, Swiss chard, beet greens, rhubarb, raw almonds, cashews, peanuts, sweet potatoes, beets, dark chocolate, black tea, and soy products. Now I want to be clear. I am not telling you to eliminate all of these forever. Many of them have real nutritional value. But consuming them in large amounts every single day, especially without dietary calcium alongside them, is a pattern that the aging kidney struggles to handle. And here's something critically important that most people miss: calcium at meals. This sounds counterintuitive because for years people were told to avoid calcium if they had kidney issues. But the science has shifted on this significantly. Dietary calcium, taken with meals, actually binds to oxalate inside the gut before it's absorbed. They bind together and leave the body through the stool. You want them to meet inside your gut, not inside your kidney. Dairy products like plain yogurt, milk, and cheese at meals can help accomplish this. If you are dairy-free, calcium-fortified plant milks work as well. Next, magnesium. This is perhaps the single most underused kidney protective tool in the arsenal of older adults. Magnesium glycinate or magnesium citrate, taken in the evening, has been shown to bind oxalate in the gut, reduce the crystallization of oxalate in the kidneys, and support overall kidney tubule health. A doctor or pharmacist can help you identify an appropriate dose for your situation. Foods naturally rich in magnesium and low in oxalate include pumpkin seeds, black beans, avocado, banana, and fatty fish like salmon. Water. I know, you've heard it before, but the mechanism matters. Staying consistently well hydrated dilutes the concentration of oxalate in the urine. Concentrated urine is where crystals form. Diluted urine washes oxalate through before it has a chance to precipitate into crystals. Aim to produce pale, straw-colored urine throughout the day. That is your simplest real-time hydration indicator. Avoid large doses of vitamin C supplements. This one surprises people. In the body, high doses of supplemental vitamin C convert directly into oxalate. A 1,000 milligram vitamin C tablet can meaningfully increase oxalate load in the blood. Getting vitamin C from food, citrus, bell peppers, berries, delivers it in lower, more manageable doses with fiber that slows absorption. Whole food is always safer than supplement megadoses. Gut health. Remember Oxalobacter formigenes, that protective gut bacteria that breaks down oxalate before it reaches the blood. You can support your gut microbiome through fermented foods, plain yogurt with live cultures, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, and miso. These don't replace lost bacteria directly, but they create an environment where beneficial microbes can thrive and help process dietary oxalate more efficiently. Lemon water. Citrate, found naturally in lemon juice, inhibits oxalate crystal formation directly in the kidneys. The citrate binds to calcium in the urine and prevents it from binding to oxalate to form crystals. Squeezing half a lemon into a glass of water and drinking it first thing in the morning, and again mid-afternoon, is a simple, evidence-informed habit with real kidney protective value. Finally, movement. Light, regular walking, even just 20 to 30 minutes daily, improves circulation to the kidneys and supports the lymphatic system, which plays an important secondary role in clearing metabolic waste. You don't need to run. You don't need a gym. A consistent daily walk is one of the most powerful things an older adult can do for kidney health. Now let me tell you what to expect if you begin these changes consistently. In the first 1 to 2 weeks, most people notice changes in their urine first. It becomes clearer. The frequency normalizes. The urgency at night often reduces. This is the kidneys beginning to have less concentrated waste to process. In weeks 2 through 4, energy levels often begin to shift. The heavy afternoon fatigue that seemed permanent starts to lighten. Sleep becomes more restorative. This isn't placebo. It reflects the early reduction in the inflammatory burden the kidneys were sending through the bloodstream. In the first 1 to 2 months, ankle swelling, if it was present, typically reduces noticeably. The body begins to shed the retained fluid more efficiently as kidney filtration pressure improves. Mornings feel lighter. Some people describe this as feeling like a fog is lifting. At the 3-month mark and beyond, these are the changes that show up in blood work. When you retest kidney function, creatinine, BUN, GFR, after 3 to 6 months of consistent dietary and lifestyle changes, many people see meaningful stabilization or improvement in those numbers. This is the kind of evidence that gets a doctor's attention. I want to be honest with you. The kidneys do not fully regenerate damaged tissue. If scarring has occurred, that scarring remains. But here's what is equally true. Stopping the ongoing damage allows the remaining healthy kidney tissue to compensate more effectively. The body is remarkably adaptive when the cause of harm is removed. The goal is not to reverse the past. The goal is to stop the ongoing damage and give the healthiest remaining kidney tissue the support it needs to do its job well for decades to come. A few important warnings before we close. Everything I've shared in this video is educational information. It is not a substitute for medical care, and it is not a diagnosis. If you have symptoms I've described today, please bring them to your doctor's attention and ask for specific kidney function testing. If you are already living with diagnosed chronic kidney disease, any dietary changes, including the ones I've discussed, should be reviewed with your nephrologist. Kidney disease at different stages has different dietary requirements, and what helps an early-stage patient may need adjustment for someone at a later stage. If you are on blood pressure medications, diuretics, or diabetes medications, changes in your fluid intake and dietary habits can affect how those medications work. Always loop in your prescribing physician. And if you are experiencing sudden severe back pain, blood in the urine, fever with chills, or significant reduction in urine output, those are signs that require same-day medical evaluation. Do not wait. This video is about empowering you with knowledge, but knowledge works best in partnership with professional medical care, not instead of it. Here is what I want you to take away from everything you've just heard. You are not simply getting older. Your body is not randomly breaking down. There is a mechanism, a hidden, systematic process that is either speeding up or slowing down the aging of your kidneys. And that mechanism is influenced every single day by what you eat, how much you drink, how you move, and what you put into your gut. The hidden poison we talked about today, oxalate overload in the aging kidney, is not a rare medical mystery. It is a common, under-recognized, and underappreciated threat that silently affects millions of older adults. And the tragedy is not that it's unavoidable. The tragedy is that it goes unaddressed because no one explained it clearly. Think about Richard, the man who thought he was doing everything right. His spinach smoothies, his almonds, his dark chocolate, all of it considered healthy. All of it quietly overwhelming kidneys that had lost the protective mechanisms of youth. And then think about what happened when the hidden cause was finally addressed. His kidneys stabilized, his energy returned, his sleep improved, his swelling reduced, his body responded. Your body wants to respond too. It's been waiting for the right information. The kidneys are not hopeless organs waiting to fail. They are responsive, adaptable, still fighting organs that, when given the right support, can continue protecting you, cleaning your blood, regulating your fluids, and keeping you alive and well for many years to come. You now know what most people never get told. What you do with that knowledge is up to you. If this video helped you today, please share it with someone you care about. A spouse, a sibling, a friend over 60 who has been struggling and doesn't know why. They deserve to hear this too. Take care of your kidneys. They are working for you every second of every day, and they deserve the same loyalty in return.